What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dash today. It is the 19th day of November, and here we are at about $76, $77 thereabouts. 9 hours, 25 minutes left in this day, you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Again, for anybody that's confused, right? At no point here or here did we say we're going to move straight up without any turbulence. Okay, turbulence is fine. We had turbulence from our last low. We moved up, we moved down, we moved up, we moved down twice, and we still moved up. Okay, we did it back here. We had a low here. We moved up, we moved down, we moved up, and then we moved down, and then we moved up again. Right? That's what this wick was. To the lows of this range, to literally back to the lows of this range after we had already had a higher daily close out of this range. It's okay to find a little bit of turbulence. Don't be worried about the short-term stuff. Trust the process. Understand it's going higher. Dash has higher to go. Likely it does. I would believe it does have higher to go. Likely. And let's go over why I believe it has higher to go. And then we'll go over the indicators and see what they suggest as well. Okay, first off, where we found support last week was at a key area of resistance here, resistance there, resistance here and there as well, support here, clear area of significance in the charts. Okay, we look at this from a high from last cycle to the low of this cycle. It's also right at the 382. The golden ratio is marked by these white lines here. It's absurdly common, and when I say absurdly common, I mean like 90% of the time or more, probably like 95% of the time. When you go to the golden ratio and you find resistance, you go back to the 0.5382 level. You find support and then you move higher. It couldn't have been better. We tipped the 382 perfectly. 382, prior areas of significance for resistance here, there, support and resistance going back in time. And to boot, overall, from a high to a low, that was a 60% correction, 59%. We could correct more. It's not that we can't go lower, but we've seen a sizable correction. We've broken out of prior areas of resistance, back tested them, and found support. I don't know if you would call this support or not, but I would think, from a low to where we are now, a 24% pump is support in itself. And not only that, but we actually moved up more like 50% off that level. Literally directly from this level here, directly from that low to a high point, we actually saw a 85% move. I would think that's significant support, getting 85% bump off of that. I think the low is in, man. We're consolidating here where we consolidated before we moved higher. We're consolidating in this area here where we consolidated before we moved lower. It makes a lot of sense that the low is in and that we're going to move higher, at least in my opinion. It doesn't make sense to me that we have lower to go. But it could. It's possible. Typically from here, after you find resistance at the golden ratio and then support at the 0.5382 zone, the next zone to consider is the 786, 886 zone up here. Something between $230 and $330. That's my thoughts, right? You look at the chart without the fibs, we've broken above this resistance point. Where's the next area that we're going to stop at, right? We've already stopped here. So looking back this way, what are the next areas of significance that are above this line? We stopped right here at prior support, prior resistance here, resistance there. Maybe we go here where there's support and resistance right there. Maybe we go here where there's support and resistance right there. Maybe we go here where there's resistance on a closing basis and resistance right here. I don't know. All of those levels are significantly higher. The lowest one is at $200. We're at $76 from here. Just using our eyeballs, it's easy to deduce that 150% pump is coming. But whenever we throw our fibs on there, we have that little secret sauce, which is the Fibonacci retracement tool. We know that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to stop between the golden ratio zone and the 786. So why would you stop here? Well, you had a little bit. You had a little bit of significance here, a little bit. But I think you have just as much, if not more, significance here. Plus, you have the 786. To me, it makes the utmost sense that from here, Dash will at a minimum grow 211% before this move is done. Don't get me wrong. You've had a spectacular move so far. From a low to a high, you've done what is about an 8.6x. That's phenomenal. That's great. But you already dropped 60%. You already back tested prior areas of resistance for support. You already saw an 80% lift off of that. Sure, now you're pulling back a little bit from that, but volatility is going to happen. It's going to happen, right? This move overall was an 8x, right? It was an 8x move overall. But there were moments where it pulled back along the way. Every step of the way. You might look back and remember fondly that this was a straight line up, but it's not so straight, is it? No, it's not. If we're going to 230 to 330, why should it be any different? It's not going to be a straight line. Okay? Let go of that. Let go of your fears and anxieties. It's okay that the day is red. It's okay that right here you're forming a tweezer bottom right at your little prior area of resistance right here. It's okay that you broke out of this little low zone and you're back testing it for support. It's okay. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom out from there. Okay, the 1 hour time frame here. You're looking good. Yeah, you've got lower highs, lower lows. You're in a bit of a downtrend. You've broken that trend, and you look like you want to go higher. Bullish momentum is being built. Bearish momentum is being broken. That's a good look. I would think that you do want to go higher. The stochastics are looking like you want to go higher, and the MACD here, whenever you cross above the zero, would certainly promote some growth as well. What happened last time you crossed above the zero? Well, in the grand respects of this move overall, from a low to a high, and maybe a low to a high here, because I don't think this wick is on every other chart, so maybe it's a low to a high here. In the grand respect of this move overall, when you crossed above the zero, was right here. We haven't even crossed above the zero yet, but we're looking like we're ready to cross above it. That's the whole point that I'm addressing here. So we haven't even really gotten started with our move. Okay, our next move up is what I'm trying to say, right? This was fun. What's coming next should be even better. Okay, it'll likely take us to higher prices. We'll be well above $100. And we did call for resistance at $100. I'm pretty sure we did, somewhere around here, right? Because we weren't expecting it to be a straight line. If it were to be a straight line up, likely what we'd see is like a double top. That would not be friendly. 4 hour time frame here. I don't remember if we called. I feel like calling for resistance at $100 would have been obvious because of prior support and psychological resistance, but maybe I'm wrong. I want to use a different chart. I don't want to use Coinbase because, again, that wick, it's just throwing me off. It's throwing me off. High to low. Whoop. High to low. Golden ratio. You missed it. Little known fact, whenever you miss it, you can go to the 236. Little fun fact, right? Golden ratio hits 0.5382 support. You can go to the 236 and find support. That happens sometimes, but typically it's more this area. But if you miss the golden ratio, the odds of going to the 236 go up a little bit, or even a double bottom goes up a little bit. And we could go lower. Dash could go back down to $71 or $65, but I don't think that it will. I don't think with that kind of reaction, I don't think you're going to get another opportunity, personally. That's just my thoughts. Or if you do, that might be bad. That might promote lower growth. We'll see. If you were to return down here, you want a stronger reaction, not a weaker reaction, because that would definitely imply that we break out to the downside. We'll be well aware of the downside to come if it happens, okay? It's not just going to drop through the floor and surprise us. I mean, it can happen. Anything can happen all at once. Black swan events do happen, but in the realm of expectations that are statistically probable, it's probably not going to happen. You could see a 10x in a day. That could happen too. You know, like anything's possible. 4 hour time frame. But if we play that, we're going to be talking forever, right? Talking about the statistical probabilities. Likely that doesn't happen. We move up. The RSI got very overbought. Can't get oversold to save your life, right? If you do, you just reject it. You hate it. You're at the 40, which is a perfect area to find support on any time frame. Plus, you have higher lows. I can't draw a straight line to save my life, but higher lows here, right? That's a pretty straight line. I did pretty all right. Maybe I got to use a straight line just to validate, right? Because people say, you're just trying to fit it to look right. There's a curve in the line. You curve the line. Oh, I must have deleted it, actually. But no, it's right there. It's perfect. It's a perfect area to find support. Stochastics are coming up. You're coming out of the oversold zone. You look good there. The MACD is finding support right at the zero. You've got higher lows here with lower lows in the price. It's bullish divergence. You're moving higher, man. You are. You're absolutely moving higher. What you've done is you've crossed above the zero. You're finding support here. Likely, very likely, mark my words. Let me do this real quick. Mark my words in just a second, I should say. The next move from these levels, I think the low is in. If I'm wrong, maybe you go a little bit lower, but I think the low is in, man. Maybe you go, if you were to go lower, I think $71 holds, okay? The next move will be bigger than the last move. So from here, based off this move, one could expect that we move up to about $123 and then we find resistance. I would say we likely see a bigger move. So if we would stop here, if we copied this move, but we're not, we're seeing a bigger move, what is a significant level of resistance that's above here that we might count on to stop at, right? It's going to be a bigger move. Likely, we stop somewhere around $133 to $150. That'd be my thoughts. And I bet if we take a high to a low, I bet we get some fibs that line up with that, high to low. Not really. to be completely fair, it's kind of in between. Actually, the golden ratio right there at 130. Maybe we go up to 140, 146, somewhere at the 1886, 200 level. That's somewhat common enough. Let me just see. What did we do here, for example? High to low. We did. We stopped right at our 1886, 200, back test the golden ratio, and then went up. So if we stopped at that same level, that's at 140 to 146, which is right in the area, the original area that I thought. So maybe that's exactly what we do. Normally, I don't look for this level, but it happens. It's common enough. Normally, I look for the golden ratio levels and see if we have any like significant levels there, but that's the thought, Dash. You're at $77. If you made this same move, it would take you until Friday next week, the 21st. I'm saying that before then, before Friday next week. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're on the 4-hour time frame. Friday the 21st is 2 days from now. So within the next 2.5 days, roughly, because we have about 9 hours left in this day, you should see Dash at $130 to $150 within the next 2.5 days. That's my thoughts. By the end of Friday. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Dash is absolutely going higher, right? We started off talking about that. The next levels that make the most sense to me are $230 to $330. And we know that because if we take this high to this low here, or maybe it's not that high to low, I'm sorry. But still, I mean, we got the golden ratio at 290 to 400. It was this high to low. It was last cycle's high to the bear market low. My bad. We found resistance at this golden ratio zone. We back tested the 0.5382 for support. The next area would be the 786, 886. Okay. If I delete these fibs here, it's a little bit more. Oops, no, not those fibs. These fibs. Delete those fibs. Maybe delete some of the chicken scratch. Right? We found resistance at the golden ratio. Pull back to the 0.5382, and then we're going up to the 786, 886, which is 236 to 328, which is also right there, actually, very well within the limits of our golden ratio zone here of this overall move at $290. So really, I think something above $300 is what's coming our way. But between the next 2.5 days, I think we see something that's closer to 133 to 150. That's my thoughts. I got nothing else. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, probably more likely 141 to 150. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Oh, catch the pump while you can. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. I know that things are down, and what I would say too is not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but don't sell your coins that are at low points for this coin. Just put in new money. Or like if you want to give up on a project, give up on a project, but don't do the thing where you have a coin that's been moving down, you sell it and you're like, I'm just going to buy this. It'll pump 100%. I'll sell it and then I'll put my money back into here. Don't do that, because what if I'm wrong? What if you're holding for longer? What if the coin you sold down here because it's down so much? What if it pops off while this thing's correcting and trying to figure itself out? Don't do that. Just put in new money. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Or money that you're willing to let ride, at least, right? Not time-sensitive money. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Don't put time-sensitive money into this. Though, from a time-sensitive perspective, I do imagine we pump like 100% from here in the next 2 days. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care, bye-bye.